Maybe you're deciding between federations. Maybe you started with one and you're switching to the other. Or maybe you want to try both and see which one you like. As you know, there are many federations out there to choose from. What's the difference between OCB and NPC? I get this question a lot, so in this video, I will do my best to compare these two well-respected and popular organizations to help you make an informed decision. The biggest difference between OCB and NPC is drug testing. Now, OCB is an all-natural federation, meaning that there is an extensive list of banned substances that you will be tested for. There will be a mandatory polygraph test for every competitor, usually the day before the show during registration. And in addition, those receiving first place awards will provide a urine sample directly after receiving their award. And to answer your next question, you must be substance-free for at least 7 years. NPC, on the other hand, is not tested for any substances. So yes, it is a place for athletes who may use PEDs or performance-enhancing drugs or stronger diuretics during peak week. But this doesn't mean that everyone who competes is on gear. There are many natural athletes in this federation as well. So don't let that necessarily deter you from competing here if you're a natural athlete. Now, that being said, the further you progress from NPC to the pro level, you may find it harder to compete here as a natural athlete. Now, one consideration that I have been seeing more and more with my clients is women who are needing hormone replacement due to going through menopause or other various reasons. And natural competitions are usually not an option in this case. Now, also, NPC does have a natural series of shows called NPC Natural that are drug tested. Quarter turn or mandatory poses are different for these two federations. So the main difference is the side pose. Now, prior to 2022, OCB's side pose was open to variations depending on what the athlete preferred. OCB now has a mandatory side pose, which looks like this. And NPC's side pose has remained consistent and looks like this. Now, one big thing that I have noticed between the two is the amount of time that you're given to be in each pose, okay? So NPC judges tend to turn you to the next pose really fast, and so you need to be able to hit your poses very quickly. Now, you tend to get more time with OCB, but this also varies with each show. The size of the class also makes a difference, and you may find yourself on stage for 10 to 15 minutes with OCB with a large class, which personally is okay with me because I know that I worked so hard and I want to be able to know that I had some time up there, but you do have to work on your stamina to be able to hold those poses. Now, the individual walk is different as well. So for NPC, you will have an eye walk, and this means it's in the shape of an eye, so you go from the back to the front. So this will be from 2 to 4 poses depending on the size of the show. And you will do some version of your quarter turn poses, except that your side pose will be a model pose, which is the same as the OCB side pose. Now, OCB has a T walk, named such because it's in the shape of a T. Start from the back, go to the front, go to the left, go to the right, come back to the middle, and it forms a T. So this is a 60-second choreographed routine for most shows. And you may or may not be able to choose your own music depending on the promoter. Now, during this routine, you may use poses other than standard figure poses, such as back double bicep or side tricep pose. Creativity is encouraged. Just no gymnastics, please. The last thing to contrast between OCB and NPC with posing is how you move on stage. So what I'm going to tell you is how I've seen it most of the time. Now, occasionally there are differences and the promoter has the discretion to change things. So the best thing you can do is nail all of the posing details and then listen for instructions when you get there. Let's look first at NPC. So there will be prejudging and finals. And for prejudging, a typical show will have you come out one at a time and perform your eye walk. You will then proceed to a diagonal tape line on one side of the stage. You will stay there in a model pose until everyone has had the opportunity to do their walk. Then it's time for the infamous first call-outs. They will call out the top 5. You will walk to the tape line in front of the judges. Then you're going to perform quarter turns, trade places on stage, and be placed in order of rank. with the top contender standing in the middle. Now, if there are more than 5, then the first set of competitors will return to the diagonal line. The next 5 are the second callouts, and they go through the same routine, and then this continues until all competitors are judged. All ladies will then exit the stage, and they'll move on to the next division. For finals, you will come out individually to perform your walk, same walk as in the morning, and exit the stage. And you're only going to perform your walk once, despite the number of categories that you enter. Okay? Once everyone has done their walk, they'll move on to awards. Now let's look at OCB. Your class will come out as a group and start doing quarter turns right away. Okay? You will be asked to trade places with other competitors. If the class is large, they may move one whole side of the competitors to the other side so that the judges can get a closer look. They may also put 2 competitors next to each other that are similar to determine their placing. However, if you are standing in the middle, this does not mean that you took first place. OCB judges don't rank the order on stage in the same way as NPC. After the group is judged, next up is T-walks. You will only do this once despite the number of categories that you enter. And T-walks are usually done in numerical order of the competitors. So after that is awards, and again, the top 5 will be called on stage and given those trophies. Now for both NPC and OCB, if there are multiple open class winners, if there's an open A, open B, open C, then after the awards of the classes, the winners of each open class will come out for a final judging of quarter turns to determine the overall winner. Divisions, categories, classes, and crossovers. What does it all mean? So I'm going to take a few minutes to break this one down because it can be really confusing. Divisions or categories are the broadest term meaning bodybuilding, physique, figure, wellness, bikini. OCB calls these categories and NPC calls them divisions. So when someone asks, what category or division are you in? You would say, I'm doing figure. Within these general terms, the next level you'll see in most shows are true novice or debut, meaning first-timers, novice, masters, teen, hero, and open. And you can see here that OCB calls these divisions and NPC calls these classes. Now in the last subdivision, you have classes that are delineated by age, height, novice, and open. So the number of classes for each division and which classes that will be offered will also vary from show to show. And the show may not have all the classes, so you can always check with the promoter of your specific show to find out what is available. So yeah, it doesn't help the confusion that these 2 federations use different language, but once you make your decision, you can look it up again on their website and learn what you need. All right, guys, one more term that you will see is crossovers. And this just means that you've registered to do more than one category or division. So for example, let's say you're 42 years old and you've never competed before. You could enter into True Novice, Open, and Masters 40+ classes. Let's say you're 27 years old and you're doing your second show. You could compete in both the Novice and Open classes of your height. So for NPC, they have classes based on specific height requirements, and this can change a little bit depending on how many people are actually showing up for that show in that class. Okay, now for OCB, it's based on how many competitors are in the show, and it's the promoter's discretion at the maximum number that they want in each class. So for instance, if an OCB show has 8 competitors, there may be only 1 class. But if there are 15 women, they may split it up into 2 classes, Open A, Open B. To achieve the coveted pro card, well, that's a little bit different in each federation as well. For OCB, you can win your pro card in your first show. Now, there will be a pro card awarded to the Open class and the Masters class only, but there's a caveat. There must be a minimum of competitors in your category. For the Open class, there must be at least 5 competitors, and for the Masters class, there must be at least 3. And if the minimum is not met in a show, a pro card will not be awarded. For NPC, you cannot win your pro card in your first show. So there's 2 steps. The first step is to place top 2 at a national qualifier, and not all shows are national qualifiers, so make sure that if you're interested in becoming a pro, you pick the right show. The second step is then to compete in a pro qualifier. And some of these shows award pro cards for the top 2 overall winners, and some it's the top 2 per class. So again, check the website linked below for the full breakdown. So guys, these are some of the comparisons between these two well-known bodybuilding federations. If you're looking at competing for the first time, I would recommend going with a natural federation. It's a great place to feel like you're on a more even playing field. And once you've invested a few years of heavy building and sculpting, then go try a few federations and see what you like and see, where you feel is a good fit for you. Everyone is different, and bodybuilding shows are not a one-size-fits-all. Please go ahead and leave me a comment and let me know your experience in either OCB or NPC, or if you have any other questions. Everybody benefits from seeing your personal pros and cons. Thanks for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.